Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Magenta Show here with Moira Bush. I'm your host and I have got a very beautiful guest here today, Makarand Deshpande. Thank you so much for being on the show. Welcome.
Pleasure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
He is a financial advisor and he has an amazing story of what led him to become a financial advisor. He's not the run-of-the-mill financial advisor, so you do stay tuned in and get to know this amazing man. We kind of met on circuit, didn't we? We've been chatting and meeting at various meetups and exhibitions, and and he asked to be a guest on the show, and I said absolutely yes, you've got to be a guest on the show. So welcome again.
Thank you very much.
Our audience today, if you like number 1, write it in the comments box. If you like number 2, in the comment box. And if you like number 3, pop it in the comments box so we know what colors you're going to be choosing later on at the show when they are revealed. So right now it's just empty bottles for those of you who are new to the show. 1, 2 or 3, and at the end of the show I'm going to reveal what color you picked and give you a little color guided message that will hopefully support you in the upcoming week. Okay, so you got it? 1, 2 or 3. All right. Rightio. Let's put them a little bit aside here. So, have you been interviewed before on TV or social media?
Social
TV?
Media, yes. Yeah, I think a couple of times.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, maybe three times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think of this trend that we're using social media to promote our work and our message and our entrepreneurial businesses?
It's amazing. Like, I think with this you reach thousands of people live.
Yeah.
And also I think some people would be following this show later on.
Yeah.
So your ability to reach so many people in their homes or offices. And I think it's no networking event or no marketing activity would help you reach 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And this one gives you that opportunity. Yeah. Great. I think I should start something like that.
I think you should. All right. So tell the audience a little bit around your journey, because your journey started when we were talking pre going live. We were talking about how you started off as a salesman. You followed your passion in India, and you then became an executive. You were really good at that, and then you became unemployed, and then you tried to be an entrepreneur, and now you've moved into financial. So it's been a journey, and you've also lived in so many different countries. Your story really is amazing. So just let the audience know a little bit about your journey, because I really want them to understand here what I see in you. You're really somebody special, and
thank you.
And you're a part of what I'm trying to do with the show, and it just indulge me for a minute. So for those of you, again, if you've tuned in for the first time and you don't know what the color magenta means or what the purpose of the show is, I'm just going to refresh their memories. When you do life in a very red way, it's about money and it's about survival and it's about building a home and a family. It's very red, material world things that you take care of. There comes a time in your life where you also want to do something more spiritual. You want to be more of service to the community. You want to make a difference. You really want to help people. It's not just about making money. This is now about also bringing this violet spirituality in. And in the chakra system, the red is the base, the violet is the crown. When you mix these two colors together, I don't know if you want to do that, if you want to have a look there. What would it look like if you were mixing these two colors?
Would be dark
they make
purple?
Magenta, yeah.
That will
If you mix that purple with that, you get this magenta color. Just see if we can get it on the... I know the camera might not be able to pick it up, but... Can you pick that up, Michael, the producer? He's got it for you. Okay, so when you mix these two colors, you get magenta. And magenta is known as the middle part, the middle way. So this is somebody, and look at the color tie you're wearing today. And I had this feeling I had to wear magenta today for you as well.
Okay.
This is somebody, I don't just want to make money. I want to serve and make a difference and help people. So there's this passion and purpose underlining who you are and what you do. So that is why it's called the Magenta Show. And that's why I wanted you on the show.
Okay, yeah.
So tell us your journey. Tell us a little bit of the story.
Of course, it's a long journey, and I hope I can, put it in a capsule form. So I was born in India and educated in India. I don't know what was the reason, but when I was studying, my only ambition was to work for a pharmaceutical company, and that was my passion. That was my ambition. I looked myself as someone working for a pharma company. when I finished my studies, the first thing I did was I started applying to different pharmaceutical companies, and I got an opportunity to work for a leading multinational pharmaceutical company as a medical rep or a pharma sales rep. And I loved what I did. I was so passionate about what I was doing, and maybe that was the reason I grew very fast. And within no time, by my mid-30s, I was already a senior executive in pharmaceutical industry. I was occupying a position where generally people would occupy in their late 50s, and I was in mid-30s having that position. And so that was the time I also got an exposure to international business development. And then my company posted me at Moscow to take care of the former Soviet Union business. And
Moscow. You lived in Russia. My goodness.
yes, so
was that a good experience?
it was a great experience. Like many people wouldn't believe,
Yeah.
but it was a great experience.
And you
Like,
took your family with you.
yes, I went there. My son was just born. My younger son was just born when I went to Moscow.
Yeah.
And then I came back, and when he was 6 months old, then the family joined me.
What was your wife's impression of Russia? Did she enjoy it there?
Yes, and our entire family, we loved that experience.
Wow, that
Many
sounds
people,
good.
when I talk to them, they don't. They find it difficult to understand or difficult to believe that, oh, Russia, you're talking about that. But imagine, like those 4.5 years in Russia, we had so much great experiences from the local Russians. Like whenever they saw my wife with a small kid, we were always given a preferential treatment.
Oh,
right
wonderful.
from the day we landed at Moscow airport. I remember, as I was telling you, Moscow airport is one of the slowest airport in the world. At least at that time it used to be. Like you could be in the immigration line for maybe 1.5 to 2 hours sometimes. And when we landed, and when they saw my wife with a 6-month-old baby in her lap, they opened a special window for us. They said, "Come on in," and then they processed us, and then two hefty Russians in their green uniform, and then they come back, give us your baggage tag, we'll take care of your baggage. And
So there was just all this kindness.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that
And then
they showed you.
so
That's a warm welcome at customs.
Yeah, and
you
that-
always know a country really wants you and loves you, and you've got good karma there if they go, come in.
Yeah. And then it started on the first day, and we saw that like during our 4.5 years, every day we had those experiences. Like we used to take public transport, like we used to take trams and buses and metro, and every time, like whenever we went to a crowded, a bus or a tram, and when they saw my wife with a baby, immediately they would make a seat for her.
Oh,
it was a great
beautiful.
experience, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So at that point you were doing executive work, and then what happened after that?
So I continued in international business development for almost 15 years. And that was a time when I had opportunity to work in more than 50 countries across the globe. So I did almost entire Europe, almost entire Southeast Asia, Middle East, Far East. I would say Latin America is the only major market I did not do. I extensively worked in Russia. I lived there. China I did. India,
Wow.
it's an important market. I was born there.
Yeah.
So those important markets, when people talk about BRIC economies,
Yeah.
there's Brazil, Russia, India, China.
Yeah.
So I did not do Brazil, although
Yeah.
I had someone in my team who was reporting to me and handling Brazil, but I did not do.
Did not do the-
personally, I did not.
Out of all those countries you travelled, which would you say was your favourite? Which
England.
really England? You
Yes.
loved England.
I loved
Oh,
England
good. I
because
lived to worked in England for 15
In
years.
fact,
I loved it too.
one of my assignments was setting up European operations for our company, and London was our headquarters.
Oh, nice.
So I was traveling to London once a month for 2 years,
Oh, good.
and every trip I would go there and I would stay there for 10 days to sometimes 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I was literally half of my time I was spending in London, and I loved every
loved
minute I
London.
spent in London.
So what made you stay in Canada?
I got a job offer in Canada
Yeah.
from a pharmaceutical company based out of Montreal.
Okay.
So again, it was a senior executive position. It was a very exciting position. So I came to Canada with a very good job in hand. Most people, they come to Canada and then they find a job.
Yeah.
And in my case, I was quite lucky. So I was working in this pharmaceutical company till 2010. And as we were discussing before the show, life was great. A lot of international travel, a lot of money. It was a great lifestyle for family. And 2010, I lost my job.
So that was very on the heels of 2008.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of people in 2008 already lost their jobs. So you managed to hang on until 2010.
And I've seen so many people, like extremely talented people with great qualifications, great experience. But unfortunately, that was the time when companies had to, they go on a cost cutting program.
That's right.
They don't want to lose good people, but then that's the last thing they have to do, is that to let go some people. And many times companies have to take a decision where they would let go people who are with high salaries, and because that's
they got to trim it somewhere when the economy crashes like that.
There is no emotional element into it. Basically, it's that's the last decision they take. So it happened in 2010, and I thought with my experience and my qualifications, I would be able to get another job quickly. I still remember I told my wife that I'll be getting my next job like this. And this never happened for 6 months and a year. And and that time we moved to Toronto from Montreal. I thought it was a bigger place, bigger opportunities. And also my younger son was actually struggling with French in Montreal. So we thought of putting him back into the English schooling system. So he came, so that's how we came back. Not back, but we moved to Toronto. And after 1 year or so, then I thought of starting my own business and buying a franchise. I did a lot of due diligence, and I thought that was the best model, because a franchise model is basically, it's a well-proven model. It's working everywhere else, and you just have to, you have to make it successful in your area. So I bought a franchise of an American company, and they wanted to expand into Canada. The business model was good, but unfortunately it didn't work. And so they didn't expand into Canada. But what happened, that franchise people like me, the franchisees, we lost a lot of money.
Wow.
Huge.
I just want to check in with the audience here, because if this is a story that sounds very familiar to you, please let us know. Put some comments in the comments box, because this has happened to people where they've been in good positions, they've earned money, they've had security, they've had job security, and then they try and it just doesn't happen for them, and they get pushed into the entrepreneurial field. And I know definitely with a lot of the people that I meet when I go networking, this is a story that's out there, and really what's fascinating here, and what I'm really wanting to highlight is, you decided to move out of being employed to having your own employed through a franchise to be self-employed, and then that crashed and also financially just almost wiped you out again. And so if this is your story, please guys, let us know. Put something in the comment box, because you're not alone.
And I have seen this happening with so many people, hundreds of people during that phase of life. I've seen so many people, like senior corporate executives or successful business owners, like me, we thought the success was perpetual, success was going to be there for our entire life. And just one dip of maybe 1 year or 2 years, it literally wipes out your finances. I've seen that happening with so many people. And
the stress it puts on the families is incredible. Some marriages don't survive that.
And I was told that, I don't know, but I read it, that in North America, the number one reason for divorce is financial difficulties.
That's right.
And so I must thank my wife. She didn't leave me during that period.
Good for staying, girl.
during that time. But so in 2013, when I was looking into new profession, I was looking into different options, and I said I want to become a financial advisor.
Why?
And because I said, I've gone through this, a great lifestyle, then something happening, a downturn for just a couple of years. And that 2 years of downturn can wipe out your 20 years of savings.
Wow.
And it happened with me, it happened with so many people I met. And I said, this is one profession I can actually help people. And one thing that it was common with whoever it happened, including me, we always thought that success was going to be perpetual. It was, we will never have any, break, we will never have any downturn. And kind of a, I would not say foolish belief, but I would say maybe more of a self-confidence on a higher power level, saying that it will never happen to me. But it happens. Life has always different ways of surprising you.
Life does that. Life isn't a straight line or just straight up. Life has rhythm.
So when I decided to become a financial advisor, I said, here is a profession, because as I said, like the common thing with me as well as all these people, hundreds of people I saw, was that they did not do proper financial planning because they thought that, oh, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Because I will always be in demand. I'm always going to keep on earning a lot of money like I'm doing. And I said, now this is a profession where I can actually educate people. I can educate them about the importance of financial planning, because that's the most important thing in life. Like I was telling you, like I love Zig Ziglar's quote, and Zig Ziglar says that money may not be the most important thing in life, but on an ought to have it basis, it's second to oxygen.
It is.
Yeah.
If you think that your money is going to last you forever, you've got to listen to this episode and forward it to your friends who don't have any financial planning. I think it's very important.
And imagine right from school days what we are taught. We always hear cliches like money is not the most important thing in life. Money doesn't buy you happiness. Or and all those kind of cliches. But actually the most practical cliche, or rather statement, is from, as I said, from Zig Ziglar. Ultimately, for everything you need money.
That's right.
I can understand money may not buy you happiness, but it buys you.
You do need it, yeah.
But then it buys you so many things.
For those of you who've managed to see a close-up zoom of Makarand, I don't know if you've noticed his tie, because whenever I've met you and run into you at various events, I've always noticed you have this incredible, it's the Eldridge knot, right?
Eldridge knot,
the Eldridge knot.
Yes.
It's 15 steps to make this knot in a tie. That's kind of a bit of a branding thing for you. It makes you stand out in the crowd.
It is a branding, yeah. Like whenever I go to any networking events, I think the first thing people notice is not me, but my knot.
No, the guy with the Eldridge knot. It's the same with me. They go, oh, there's the color lady. And I'm like, okay. they forget my name.
And they do ask you, like the conversation, it's a conversation starter. They would say that, oh, what is this knot? What it is called? And how? And then I say that it is available on YouTube. I can send you a link and
find out how to. I actually looked it up, and it's 15 steps.
Yeah, but then it helps because it starts a conversation.
Yeah, it does.
Because they want me to send that YouTube link, they give me their email address.
Clever.
I mean, of course, I'm not doing it because of that, but they genuinely get interested in that knot and they want to have that knot as well.
And it builds relationship and communication.
Yes.
Yeah. So, is there something that I can help you with today with my little color bottles, the color mirror system? Is there something I can do that will answer a question for you?
I would say, in my industry, the financial services, I would say the greatest challenge is about generating this awareness in people, the importance of financial planning.
Okay.
Today, if you look at the data, the Canadians have a very high level of debt today.
Yeah.
On every dollar earned, Canadians have an average debt of $1.65.
Yeah.
And with the credit available so easily, people, they're in the habit of building that.
And you want to raise awareness and help in some way. Okay.
And education and awareness is the most important thing.
All right. So we need to figure out how you can get your message out there. So what I want you to do for me, Deshpande, is have a look at Makarand Deshpande, is have a look at the wall of bottles behind you there, and then let's pick a bottle and have a conversation. Let's see if we can give you some guidance as to where to go.
Yeah, I think the first one that attracts my mind, or catches my eyes, is this one.
Mm-hmm. It's an indigo bottle. Okay, so I have a little booklet here that tells you what the meanings are of the colors. Okay, now sometimes I just give little intuitive messages with them, but I actually want to read this one to you. Okay, this is about trusting your intuition. All right, it's about writing and teaching your wisdom. So my advice to you would be, I like the educational element. I think that writing a book is going to be important for you, because this is a color that's going to help you to give steps to people. What are the steps they need to take, for example? But also will put your story out there, the why you do what you do. So to me, I think a branding book will be important because it will make you stand out in the crowd. And I know when I go to network events, I wrote a book, and I did it with the Raymond Aaron program. And instead of me giving a business card to somebody, I said, read my book, because it tells you what I do and who I am, but it also gives you help. It'll also give you information to help you in your life. How does that sound?
Yeah, I think because I have thought about this many times that maybe because I genuinely believe that I should be able to educate as many people as possible. Uh, yes, a doctor earns money when a patient comes to him, but he doesn't want you to be sick.
Yeah.
It's just his profession to cure you. So in
Yeah.
my profession, yes,
Prevention, I think,
yeah,
is,
like
and planning. Prevention
it's a
and
prevention.
planning. Yeah, it is.
And so
I think I'd like you to pick another bottle for me. Let's just see what I can, if we can just add and expand on the subject for you.
I think this one.
22, and it's magenta. Okay. So magenta, when I was talking about how you bring the violet and the red together to make the color magenta. So to me, what I want to give you with this, and 22 is a master number, and it says here, educating people on how, and I think entrepreneurs will probably be a really good target market for you.
Yes.
Educating them on how to focus on having the money, how to focus on making a difference, and bringing those two worlds together. It's almost like being a bridge. I call it the magenta bridge, where you can work at saying, so your book could be something that says, and education programs that says to people, hey, you got to make money, but you don't have to sell your soul to do it. You can find a middle pathway to do it, and because you're doing that journey and you're passionate about it, and there's a purpose for you in this to help other people. I think that's a message that to me feels very masterful and needs to be included in your book.
Right, and I'm focusing a lot on pharmaceutical executives because I used to be a pharma executive.
Yeah.
And also the physicians and surgeons.
Yes.
Because those 26 years in pharma industry across the globe,
Yes.
physicians and surgeons are the people I actually work closely with, and I learn a lot from them. So
And
I want to serve them.
They would, and I mean, they're in business. They're extraordinary because a lot of them have their own practices, but they need to do medical work, but then they have to run a business as well and financial planning. It is difficult.
And especially the physicians and surgeons, like they're so busy, like they
Yes.
don't have,
They don't
like
have time
sometimes
to
they
do
don't
that,
have
no.
time for their own personal things. So if they can get someone who is knowledgeable, trustworthy, competent, they would always love to
Yeah,
work with
they
someone
will.
like me. Yeah.
Of course. And have you got any other questions for me?
I would say, as I said, it's a common consumer behavior, a consumer psychology. Like people would always like to say that, let me do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have more important things to do today.
Yeah.
And so I'm always thinking, how can I educate people that?
Pick a bottle.
And
So besides the book, is there something else to educate them to change their consumer mind?
yeah.
Okay.
And how can I, so that I can just educate them that guys, yes, whatever you're doing here is important, but then the financial planning is the most important thing for you because that's going to take care of your family.
And of course, that's exactly what this bottle is, because it's G34, it's gold on top, which has everything to do about value and money and investment, because gold's investment. And again, at the bottom sits that magenta energy that says educate them. So
everything is coming
everything's
together.
education. So
Yeah.
I think your book has to be the start for you, to start an education, to start a process. And as the book evolves, I think the ways for you to work, but perhaps even a show like this, perhaps an answer question session, interacting with people live, because social media is a great way to interact with people and educate them. And, because this is what we're literally doing here, is we're giving people a little education on colors. I think start with the book would be my advice. And Makarand, and then just see how it takes you. But the focus needs to be, how can I educate? So the whole book writing needs to be,
on
would
education,
be
yeah.
valuable if it was how on educating and why they need to do it. Give them your story, tell them about your emotional journey as well. What did it feel like when you felt you had no power? What did it feel like when you lost your money? How did you handle it with your wife? Those little antidotes will make the book feel more personal. And I love that it's G34 as your last bottle here, because it says anchor in your wisdom, because gold is about wisdom, because this process you've been on has given you a lot of wisdom.
Oh yes. And I would say, if I had to give a message to your audience, I will say that there's so many good people like me, and you just have to
He's good.
and there are many they're passionate, they're knowledgeable, they're experienced. My only appeal to you would be don't keep it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is the most important thing that is going to take care of your family and your future. And work with a professional.
Don't put it off. Work with a professional.
And work with a professional. Just don't work with someone like he's my neighbor or he's my cousin or he's my friend. Just look at which company they are working for, what is how many years they are doing, like what is their experience, what are their qualifications. And there are thousands of good people here, and it's not difficult to find them.
So which one of the three that you picked is your favorite one? Which one do you like the most? So I just want to wrap it up and move to the audience now.
Yeah.
But I want to know from you which one.
I think this will this will be number one.
G34, the anchor. Yeah.
This will be number one.
Yeah,
I have to give number two?
Yeah.
This will be number 2 and number 3.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to move your bottles to the side now because I would like we have to wrap up the show, but I would like to give the audience their numbers. So those of you who picked number 1, you have actually picked Makarand's number. And again, your first bottle you picked for your own reading was indigo, and the bottle that you picked for the show, for those of you who picked number 1, is indigo. So it's exactly the same as what you chose as your first bottle. So you got the same message I've given our guest here today. Explore writing a book. All right, go and find if there's a book program, and maybe even an ebook, and please just go and find out how to do a book. I'm so passionate about this that we had a guest on the last Magenta show called Janet Rouse, and she also does book writing programs, and I'm actually having her come and speak to my students and actually learn how to write a book, because I think it's important, because I know the book has made a difference. My book has made a difference to my business. So those of you who picked number 2, you have picked Michael, the producer's pick of the week, and he has gone and picked a deep green bottle, and it relates to the Archangel Raphael. And I actually just want to have a look at that message in there, because it has beautiful words in it written by Melissa Jolly, who makes these bottles actually in South Africa. And it says, I am Raphael, and my name means God's healing. Come to me when you need healing for your body, mind, or soul, and I will help you heal your relationships and your heart. My gift to you is a heart that can love the whole world, a heart that can heal other hearts. Together we can hold a space that is so filled with love that everyone will be affected. I am the angel of the East and represent the element of air, and I will help you breathe. So the message for you, my darlings, who've picked this green, number 2, is this is a week where if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, you must breathe and hand your problems in your relationship and to do with, with anything that you're struggling with. Really just call the Archangel Raphael in and say, help me. Because, they're invisible energies, but they're there. And I know we've had a chat about spirituality
yes.
from India and the chakras, because your wife is the one who's really into all the spiritual stuff as well. But it's important to know that we're not on our own, that there's this invisible energy around us that can support us. So those of you number 2, call in Archangel Raphael, please. Nice going. Okay, and then whoever picked number 3, you've got me, the Black Dragon. So I've picked a Black Dragon, and it kind of stood out for me this week because it is about rebirth, regeneration, coming out of the darkness, coming out of the shadow, stepping into the light. So I want you to know that this is a message of hope for you for this week. The Black Dragon says you're like a phoenix that's coming out of the fire. You're going to be more beautiful than before. So take it easy in this upcoming week. Take some time out. Take a couple of days out to relax, be with family. Take a couple of days out to just maybe do something fun. Take a break from all the noise in your head and all the worries about what the future is going to hold for you. It will reveal itself. So take some time out to relax. So I kind of like the lineup that we have here, Makarand. It's kind of like, think about writing a book and explore getting your message out there through education and a book. Raphael says breathe, don't worry about your problems so much. And then the Black Dragon says relax, spend some time with family, you're going to be reborn. So I love this kind of, because sometimes we do get people who pick 1, 2, and 3. They get greedy, they don't just pick one number. So then there's a little story for them here as well. So I'm hoping that this was an interesting experience.
It was a great
you.
experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me. It's such a great pleasure.
I'm really appreciating that you took the time to come all the way from the other side of the city to us here.
No, it was worth it.
Yeah, and guys, please look him up on LinkedIn and look him up on Facebook if you want to connect with our wonderful, glorious financial guru advisor that sits here today, that knows what it's like to lose it all and build it all up again. And he will help you, avoid those pitfalls. Please contact him.
Definitely.
Thank you for joining in.
Thank
I
you.
love you, angels. Thank you for being
Thank you.
here.
Thank you all. Thank you. Yeah.